spirituality. They repackage and brought it back to us.
Now, what about the Islam? Almost repackaging.
Islam, we have two Islams. You see, African words or names coincide with Arabian words because it was black people who created the Arabian language in Sudan. So when you go to Sudan, they will tell you they are the original Arabians. And even the Arabians at Saudi Arabia right now, they were black people. It is the Romans who went and conquered them and took over that land. They saw that they have to conquer Africa and they have to conquer black people, our spiritual stronghold, which was Egypt, Ethiopia, Arabia, and Israel. But they couldn't conquer Ethiopia. So the Ark of Covenant that they speak about in Moses, in Deuteronomy, and whatever, is in Ethiopia right now. So everything in the Quran, in the Bible, is talking about black people. But they've hidden this truth from us. So the Romans, after creating Christianity and spreading it through war and conquest. So when they conquered our forefathers and coerced them into Christianity, they saw that they were not practicing it wholeheartedly because they knew the truth. So they said, okay, take their children, build mission houses, take them there, teach them only the Bible, what we have asked you to go and teach them. So whatever pastors preach, from head to toe, is not in the Bible. Anything a pastor preaches is not in the Bible.
Those days or now?
Today, now, everything a malam is preaching is not in the Quran.
What are you talking about? We go there to the
Let me give you a proof. You take an illiterate or a small boy who cannot read and write, then force that boy to memorize an Arabian language book into the head, then you teach that boy the meaning of that. Then the person will grow up, quote from the Quran in Arabian language, explain the meaning in his language. Meanwhile, he does not understand Arabic language. So whatever he's saying, whether it is true or not, he does not know.
Hey!
Yes!
This is serious.
You are in this country, and I'm sure you have come closer with Muslims. 90% of our Muslims are illiterate. They can't even read nor write in their own native language, not to talk of English or Arabic. But they quote from Arabic and they explain the meaning to us. Meanwhile, when you give them Arabian newspaper in Arabic, they can't read and tell you the story. When they listen to TV programs from Arabia and they're talking about politics, they can't tell what they're talking about.
It's the same language.
Yes. But we have pastors here who are illiterate. They can't read in Twi, neither in English. But they are pastors. What are they preaching for?
They are reading for them and they are translating in their language.
You don't understand?
We are the biggest. This is a revelation. Please make a quote out of this for me. What?
So no single pastor.
This is deep. This is deep.
No single pastor on the African continent is preaching from the Quran. And no single madam on the African continent is preaching. No single pastor is preaching from the Bible. Even the whole world, because there's nothing in Christianity that is in the Bible. Christianity, in the Bible, they say the women should cover their heads. Do they cover their heads? They say women shouldn't speak in the churches. They sing drum. We have women pastors. They say God told Moses, move your sandals. Where you are standing is holy. You are in the holy place and wearing your sandals. Everything about Christianity.
Name them.
Yes. Everything about Christianity is not in the Bible. The name Bible is not in the Bible itself.
Huh?
From Genesis to Revelation, Bible is not in the Bible itself. Because
and I who's a Holy Bible now also. Who be a first page, you know who Bible was.
Be natural way now what title Holy Bible. But in some way the Bible anywhere Bible didn't say Yahweh can say more far Bible way na mun sum. And so I will need a pastor or a malam to come here and debate me. Muslim and Christian scholars, let them come. There's nowhere in the Bible that you see the name Bible. The Bible etymologically is from the Greek word biblios, which means little books. So when Constantine was creating Christianity, when you want to create a religion, you must get a prophet and lie to the people that the Creator sent that prophet his message through that prophet to you. And you must get a what? A scripture, a book. I hope you understand. So Constantine needed a scripture. So he took the Jewish books, Zabur, Torah, and what have you, and brought Greek philosophers at that time. You know, Greeks were the most civilized during that time, after they came and learned civilization from Africa. You know, Africa brought secular education. We invented reading and writing. We invented mathematics, alphabets, everything. So we were leading civilization. When the Greeks came and learned, the conquerors, and they took over the world. So their language was the widely spoken one. And they had philosophers. So Constantine called them, told them they should combine all the books, the old ones. Good, the old ones. After the death of Jesus, or Yeshua, or anything like that, they said, anybody who saw what Jesus did or said should write and come. So people wrote their books. And then they gathered all these books and they say, take this one out, take this one out, take this one. So they took what they wanted and compiled those ones to form the New Testament. So there was nothing called New Testament during Jesus' time. There was nothing called Bible during Jesus' time. So even if that Jesus should come, but if you call him Jesus, he will not know that you are calling him, because there was no baby who was named Jesus after his birth.
Hey!
No baby. Because they told us that Jesus, the etymology of the name Jesus is from Yeshua. Yeshua became Joshua. Joshua became Jesus, blah, 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 and now Jesus. Names don't transform when they are crossing.
What about Muhammad?
Muhammad, as a key person, I call him Muhammad. English Muhammad, everywhere Muhammad. But I'll come there. So they formed a book, Bible. They edited. Constantine, after inviting them, confined them in a structure with his soldiers surrounding them. They didn't even go out to defecate or pass a urine. They did everything inside there. So they coerced them to translate the Bible to suit their agenda. They wanted to create a God. So they have to take somebody and say that person who came was God. So the person is dead, he's gone, and he has come back. So they want the world to worship Asasia and her son. But when you say that, people will not worship them because they know they are idols. So they are God who came. So they merged the two names, Jesus and Yeshua. That is that guy who was God. How should somebody come and walk the face of this and die and become God again? If you compare the size of this earth to this universe, the size of this earth is like air particles. As I'm telling you, some of us are delving into science, archaeology, history. History is in two forms. We have the history the white people are presented to us. We have the Kemetic history.
The real ones.
Yes. Then finance, then theology, then scientific spirituality. So when we speak, you think that we are prophets. So I could be a Christ because the knowledge I have gathered. So I could be a Christian. So if I say I'm a Christian, that doesn't mean. So we have two forms of Christians. The false religion, which they've converted a lot of people into it. So you are just there wasting your time. You raise your hand to pray to a false God. You're praying to nobody. But they do the practicality over there in the Catholic Church, the Vatican. So right now, as I speak, the Vatican, which constitutes about 802 people in the 2020 population census, that year, 802 people, with a land mass of 0.2 square kilometers. It is richer than the whole of African continent. And it is the richest single entity in the whole world, second to only the United States government. They have assets worth over $10 trillion. Because when they opened the churches worldwide, when the tithes were coming, they didn't spend them, they invested them. And they also do the practicality over there to get what they want. And they told you should raise up your hands and pray. So we have prayed up to date, we've got nothing. And we are not even asking ourselves, is it these people, haven't they lied to us? So when they saw that religion was fetching them a lot of money, they excluded themselves from the country Italy. Even Vatican is a suburb of Rome. Even Accra, Kaneshi is bigger than the Vatican.
Accra, Kaneshi?
Yes, it's bigger than the Vatican. So when they saw that Christianity was fetching them a lot of money. They said they're a sovereign state. So they built a wall around them. And if you want to move from Rome into the Vatican, you must go and acquire a visa. And they invested the money. And now they are super rich. And they don't even care about African Christians who are wallowing in poverty. They don't dig gold, diamond, bauxite, nothing, no mineral resources in Italy, no crude oil. How come that a small suburb is richer than the whole of African continent? Through religion. So our forefathers invented religion. You go into a covenant with some powerful gods, coerce your empire's people to worship that God. Then the benefit will come, and then you use it to take care of the people. But these people came, and they are. So anybody who creates a religion, that person and their children, their children's children, and their descendants will live in comfort, luxury. They'll be enjoying lives on this earth till the end of time. And you, the convert, will be wallowing in poverty. They will come and tell you when you die, you go to some false heaven.
Some what?
False heaven. Whilst they are living in heaven here. So when the Vatican, the Catholic Church was amassing wealth, others came to realize it. Britain and America saw that there was something secret they were keeping from them. So they also severed themselves and formed the Anglican Church, English American Church. Then that was when other people started creating. So that is why we have several denominations in Christianity and several sects in Islam.
All because of business.
Business.
You are watching Revelations.
So the Arabians, the Saudi monarch is richer than the whole of African continent. But he's not even helping we, the poor Muslims in this country. And every year, we still send money to them in the form of pilgrimage. And they are taking. Saudi gets about $120 billion every year out of pilgrimage. We have Hajj and we have Umrah. So we Muslims in Ghana are the poorest in this country, but we still send money to these people. When I was telling my people, they got angry, so I kept quiet. And I told them, let's worship, wallow in poverty, and die. We'll go to heaven. When we are revealing this secret, they told us that anybody who apostatizes, if you renounce Islam, they should kill you. Anybody who speaks against that religion, they should kill you. When you finish, you come and tell me you are God's children.
You are watching Revelations. So what about Muhammad? I want to know.
Good. So when the Romans created Christianity and saw that there was enormous wealth in religion, years back, about 1,000 years later, they went to Arabia and created Islam. Islam was already in Africa, but it was not a religion, it was a way of life. So if you look at Christianity, their creeds, tenets, and everything, practices, it's just African custom and tradition. When you look at Islam, everything is just Africa, because in Islam, we forbid fornication. In the olden days, Mala Isa said, when a girl becomes pregnant before marriage, they will search for their partner, and then they will ban them from the community. They will slaughter a billy goat and pour the blood on them. And so you have done a taboo. Leave the community. They frown upon such things. That is Islam. When some of us were young, fathers built houses for their children. And when you grow up and you are mature, they give you your farm and then they build for you. We call this thing headgears chimu. Chimu means tie your hair. Then we will have shata, that is this veil. We wore that before Islam came. And when you come to North, when we are, this our local dance, when we are dancing, women have their line, men also have their line. That is Sharia. Simple as that. And when you come to Christianity, when you go to the Old Testament, they offer drink offering, food offering, livestock offering, everything. And we do the same thing. That is it. So they just copied our tradition, took the spirituality, the practicality out of it, and brought us the theory that we should read this and raise our hands and pray. We'll get what we want. So you pray and you won't get anything. So when they created Christianity and saw that there was enormous wealth in creating religion, they sent a Catholic nun who went to Arabia, settled there, changed her name into Khadija. Khadija is not from Saudi Arabia. The prophet
Muhammad's wife. Khadija, who helped the husband to identify the angel of God.
That was why she was quick to accept Islam. Khadija was sent by Romans. She was a Catholic nun, and they sent her there. They sponsored her. That's why they said she was rich, and she was a businesswoman. She stayed there, learned their language, learned everything, their culture, tradition, changed her name, and she became one of them. And a lot of men came and proposed to Khadija, and she rejected them. They told her that she should look for a young guy who has valor and who is somewhat adorable and righteous, so that they will make him a prophet. So recently, one of them said that there will never be another Messiah unless they create him. These white people, they can do things that you can never imagine.
And what can we do?
What we can, you see, they saw that our power is our brains. So they said they should damage our brains. That is why they caught the children, sent them to the mission houses, taught them only the Bible, and they grew up. So when they grew up, they don't know what is management, they don't know what is economics, they don't know what is their history, they don't know who is God. When they say God, we don't know who actually is God.
Continue from Khadija, please.
You go. So Khadija went there, stayed there, and chose that guy. He was not even called Muhammad, because there was no Muhammad prior to the Quranic Islam. Muhammad is not an Arabian name. Any Malam who comes here asks them, was somebody called Muhammad before Prophet Muhammad? Muhammad is an African name, so we have different versions. When it comes to Gunja, we have Mamadou, Mahmuda, Mahmudu, Mahami, a lot, Ahmed, Amadou. It is African name, so they gave him that name. Muhammad was made to come to Egypt and study. And after he was initiated to become a Christ, he was given the name Al-Amin. Means the trustworthy.
Nana didn't that the same answer. Obenya Al-Amin.
I don't know.
But none of them Muhammad.
We are still digging. That name Amun was the Amin. So Al-Amin is a name of a god.
Hey.
So Khadija linked up to the Romans, and who went and told Muhammad's uncle that that young boy you are moving with, you travel to Syria or wherever, he's a prophet, so take him home. If not, when this boy discovered, they will kill him. It was a Catholic monk. We call them fathers. The nuns, we call them sisters in Ghana here. But the real name is Catholic nun, that's the females, and the Catholic monks. It was a Catholic monk who went from Rome. They traced them up, and he just approached and said, hey, my brother, I can see that you're working with a very great person.
No, Munim Dada. Khadija, my informations.
And these same people came and told her Muhammad is the greatest person to ever walk the face of this earth. He was a warrior, he was this, he was that. No, he lied to us to throw our adultery away, to come and worship idolatry.
Idolatry in disguise.
In disguise. So he killed a lot of people, said Allah commanded him to kill them because they were worshiping idols. And finally coerced them to come and worship an idol. And he said all the previous prophets were Muslims and they worship Allah. When you go to the Bible, all the prophets were priests. We don't have anything called prophets. When you go to Genesis 8, verse 7 to 9, Noah burnt an offering on an altar after they went out of the ark. And when the aroma entered Yahweh, he was pleased and said, I won't destroy the world again. Which creator will do this? The creator of this universe is asking for animal sacrifice. All the animals in the house, domestic animals, and in the wild, in the sea, he created them. What is illegal for them for? When you go to the Quran, a lot of places offer sacrifices, offer sacrifices, offer sacrifices. And when you want to slaughter, you must recite the dua in Arabic language. After that, they will come and tell us that Allah, who is the creator, understands every language. So, Bismillah, that means in the name of Allah. Allahu Akbar. Allah is great. In the name of Allah, the greatest, that I slaughter this sacrificial lamb. So, Allahumma min walika walika from my heart. Why don't you say this thing in English if you are an Englishman? Why don't you say this thing in Twi? Like, Owurade Nyankopɔn akɛseɛ wo din mu nti na me eku aboa we. Efiri makomo me fitaa. When you say that, there's nobody called Owurade. In Gwenja, we call him Abore. When you say Abore, there's nobody called Abore. If you say God, it is in your name that there's nobody called God. So what shall go? It's like here, African idolatry. If you don't mention, do you have a God in this, any idol in this community, the name? Let's say Bochorwa. If you don't mention Bochorwa's name, Bochorwa can come and take. And they said before you become a Muslim, you should say La ilaha illallah. It means there's no God except Allah. If you are saying it in Arabic, say it in Arabic. When you are saying it in English, say everything in English. So there's no God except God. What's the meaning of this? Onyami bi eni just onyami. And for centuries, no single Muslim on the African continent, scholar, has been able to
ask that question.
This because they say, catch them young and they shall be yours forever. So the little children who are going to the Khartoum, I was going. I nearly completed the Quran. Then I went to school. Then later, because of my research, I discovered that no, there's something wrong. And not just the research alone. I look at the lives of my people, and I ask a lot of questions. I say, what kind of Allah that we are worshiping from childhood to our old age? Then the person will be so impoverished. His only asset is his small hat, jalabia, and the small trouser with his cassava legs inside it. We can't build for our children. We can't take care of our wives. We can't take care of our children. So they are stealing, they are armed robbers. Others are fornicating, teenage pregnancy, and the Zongo community is filled, broken homes, everything. What kind of Allah are we worshiping? There is something wrong that we need to figure out, and that is the secret. So they created Islam, Romans. They went. So after they created Islam, they used the black people to create the Islam, and they have to conquer that land. So they went and settled there, studied their language, stayed there for a long time, and they were eliminating the black people gradually. The same thing they did in Argentina. You see, the Argentina national team, there's no black amongst them. They secretly murdered all the black people. Because the South Americans are all black people. Even the whole of America, North America, we're black people. They murdered about 100 million blacks during that time, the Native Americans, and took over that continent. Australia, the same thing. Every land on this earth, every country, every town was established by black people.
Based on your research, have you come across anything that you think Africans should try? Africans should start doing to liberate itself?
We have a lot, but the problem is we have been conditioned, we call it mental slavery. We have been mentally engineered to self-destruction. So Africa is heading towards an apocalypse, but we don't know. So we need to undo the mental engineering. But who is to do it? Because they have been murdering our prophets. Anytime a prophet rises up to move black people out of their doldrums, they can't murder him. So they shut down Martin Luther King, Marcus Garvey, Steve Biko, Patrice Lumumba. They murdered all of them. And when Bob Marley sang a song, Africa unite for the benefit of your children. It was a very big statement the guy made. Because if Africans unite and form one country, all our military will come under one command. There's no country that can fight us. But this secret, this common sense has eluded us because they damage our brains with their religion, with the Quran and the Bible. These things you can use to develop your country, the same thing you can use to destroy people. They use them to develop their country because when you go to Europe, if you don't take your child to school, they arrest you. In the Quran, it says, looking for knowledge is compulsory for believer man and woman. And the Bible says, for the lack of knowledge, my people perish. So they made school free and compulsory, and today they are gone. The same books they came and told us, education is haram. So when you come to my community, the Malams don't. There's no single Malam or pastor who is preaching that take your children to school, take your children to school. No. The pastor will tell you, bring all your woes. Jesus will solve them. How is Jesus going to solve our problem when we don't manufacture even a pin in this country? Everything is important. If Jesus is the creator, this is not how he created the world. This is not heaven. In their heaven, they say when you think it happens, but here you must look for it. So we are supposed to look for knowledge, use the knowledge to work and get money and solve our problems. But he said, no, bring it. Jesus will do so the pastor has succeeded in killing your critical thinking, because if you have a problem, you are supposed to think critically and find a cause. The Malam will cut it short. Education is haram. When you don't acquire knowledge, you lose logical reasoning. So when you speak common sense to Muslims, they get angry. Because we don't think logically anymore. Because somebody is living in a thatched building. You tell the person to marry more wives and give birth to more children because the prophet said he wants a larger woman on the day of judgment. That person might even be staying in the parents' house. He has not been able to build his own apartment, but he said he should give, you see. Then anybody who is a Christian or Muslim who says, okay, Jesus will solve my problem, I'll go to school, or I'm a Muslim, education is haram, I'll go. When we go, they will kill us with their theological curriculum. They kill our creativity and innovativeness with their theological curriculum. So we go to school to learn the parts of a grasshopper on a blackboard. Meanwhile, a grasshopper is not in the blackboard.
It's in the bush.
Yes. Instead of, how many of us are going to be anthropologists? It's not all of us. If a child goes to school today and the child starts learning how to make a car, by basic 6, basic 9, the child could invent something. But they say they will never allow us practice in our educational system.
That one thing, our time is almost.
Yes.
So that one thing everybody that is watching us should start telling the children or doing.
Let's go back to our root. You see, black people, we don't read anymore because they damage our brain. Let's read. Let's look for knowledge. And let's think critically. Let's go back to our roots. They've succeeded in replacing all our household utensils and cookware with theirs. Where is Ahinana Yenum? They brought their fridges, so today we are so impoverished that we can't even buy their brand new goods unless outmoded commodities. So their road and wedding cars are killing us. And when 1,700 people die in this country within 6 months, Christians will go to the Independence Square to pray. Meanwhile, 90% of all commercial vehicles in this country are road and wedding. 99% of passengers in this country don't wear seatbelts on commercial vehicles. And if people are dying, you are going to pray. So we are praying over human-created catastrophes. That is not religion. That is stupidity. Excuse me, my language. The Muslim will say it is Allah who has ordained it. So they don't even care. In Switzerland, the whole year, 3 accidents, nobody died. Because 9 years after manufacturing, you must throw the car away. Because they will not wait for the tire to burst for people to die before they throw it out. They change it. They will not wait for brake to fail and what. No, throw it away. We don't do that. Meanwhile, Pasavi is making cars. Why is it that our government will not build a very big factory and attach it with a very big university so that he will recruit all the engineering students who complete every year, don't have jobs. They will come there and he will teach them how to make cars. Then so we just count money. You can't see car koto here ebe 2 years. Na ye di here wia na mala ba ka kire say ye be ko heaven. It is on TV.
Hey,
I'm not giving it to them.
Hey, when I saw you coming, I am like, oh, thank you, God. This one will be nice.
So what we're supposed to do now is close all churches and mosques. Let's ban the weaving of foreign hairs on our hairs.
Huh?
Yes, that is what Pogigame did. If one hair costs 20 Ghana cedis, 1 million women times 20, that man has left this country.
But we can create the wigs here.
No, you have your own head there. Do you know why we are shaving our hairs? Look, Arabians, men and women don't shave their hairs. Chinese don't shave their hairs. Europeans don't shave their hairs. Indians don't shave their hairs. Why is that? It's all Africans. We are still in slavery. The black women's hairs are the most romantic on earth.
Hey! Our time is you. Give us your numbers and your social media handles. Give us your numbers and your social media handles.
Okay. On social media, I am Said Abdul-Latif hyphen. But when you type, you get more people. So type Prodi for real. P-R-O-D-D-Y. 4 R-E-A-L. The 4 is numeral, it's not a letter. When you type, you get pages. So go and choose the option, which is people. When you tap on people, I'm the only person who will come. Tap on it, send me a friendship request. And scroll down my profile. Read only my handwritten articles and my video. Watch them. Only my handwritten articles. My number is 0545075470.
Take your time and mention the number.
0545 075470. And the Vodafone number is 0503 686357. 0503 686357. I have a lot. This is just the tip of the iceberg.
I love you, brother.
If only Mama Grace will give me more time.
I have given you 10 slots already. 10 slots. I just love him.
When I met, you know what pushed me here? Anytime I watch your videos, at the collation and you ask your panelists, what is the solution of the solution to the problem of Ghana? Then most of them fumble. They don't know exactly what's the problem. The problem of Africa or black people is that we don't know our problem.
He will come back again. Thank you so much, brother. I love you. Much love. We love you like I love you. I love you. Mohammed Sise, I hope you are there. This is another one in DJ Kale's voice. Thank you so much for watching Revelations. Same time next week. Revelations, or same time tomorrow. Revelations will come your way with another episode. Chale, follow him for more, informations. Or at the end, he's on point. He's just in line. I pray we get more people. Now, fear is leaving people, and people are coming out. It tells African is on its way to liberate itself. Nah, nyankopon trade yampon. Wana mi pese mi bisa ne senti ye bon pai na yemfre nyame ben, but ye de ne beba biom na yetimi ebisa ne nsem bebre. Thank you so much.